morning on this gloriously sunny day. I don't think there's going to be many of these left. Now we're well into September. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you've been before. I don't know where we're going to go today. We're just going to have a little bimble again, I think. I hope we're all doing well. Christmas is coming. Yes, Christmas is coming, whether we like it or not. It'll soon be time for that bloke who dresses up in a red suit to empty his sack all over your room carpet. Not that sack, by the way. I can hear old dirty jokes coming out. That sunlight's a bit dodgy this morning. I've got my ND filters on again. They're the best things I ever bought, them. Not cheap, but worth it. I had CBR out for an hour yesterday. Right lanes of Penistone. One of my favourite places. We're not going to do that today though. You can have too much of a good thing, can't you? We are going to do some lanes though, back lanes, B roads and whatever you. God, I hate these traffic lights. That cool breeze is nice on my face. It says it's 17 degrees today, but if it is, I'll eat my hat. That's if I wore an hat. Feels a lot cooler than 17. Got some time off in October, so hopefully if weather stays like this, I'll get a few rides in then. Try and go to some different places. To think of a few places that we can go. Sun's really bad. I've got an Arai helmet on, it hasn't got a sun visor in. Apparently Arai don't believe in them because it interferes with the integrity of the helmet, they say. I won't know because I'm not an helmet expert. They obviously are. This way for a change, yeah. Ever run up through Pilly? That's assuming I can see where I'm going, that is. There's one good thing, these filters tend to do the job. Makes it a lot easier when it comes to editing. Ideal bike for these sort of roads. Oh, that sunlight through them trees like a camera flash going off in my eyes. guess there's not going to be many warmer rides left. This year's absolutely flown by. At least I've got quite a few videos up. Still trying to build my channel up to a decent level. I think I'm about 3,600 subs. I haven't looked this morning, to be honest. The hours are going up and down. I actually contacted YouTube about that, and basically all it is, your watch hours cycle goes on a 365-day cycle. So this time last year's hours will be knocked off, like as of today's date, if you know what I mean. A bit confusing, but that's what they say they do. Then everything from today gets added back on. Sounds very complicated to me, and it is. Oh, that sun is absolutely lethal. A bit of respite going under here there. We'll be turning off in a minute. It'll be behind us then. Carried away, then it went straight past. Looked up at motorway. This is heading up to Pilly. Getting back and beyond this. Not much here, if at all out. Ah, my nose is running with cold. I do feel quite blessed, you know, that I can ride such a lovely bike on roads like this. Like I've said before, until you get on a bike, you don't really notice what's in your area, do you? When you're sat in a car with radio on, sat in that little bubble, nice and warm, you don't get that feeling and smells and what have you, do you? It smells lovely out here. I tend to appreciate things more. Not only that, I've appreciated it more with age as well. I mean, I'm 58 on Boxing Day this year. Still can't quite believe how that's happened, but it has. Oh, listen to that. Hopping and banging. There is no better sounding bike than this to my ears. My latest videos have been very well received, so I'd like to thank you all for that as well. If I can help anybody, that's all this channel's about, helping, riding, usually talking rubbish. Yeah, when it gets to Christmas, the firm that I work for, that kitchen firm, it closes down for 2 weeks. So I'm going to be off for 2 weeks. I don't think I'll be riding bike much around Christmas. So I'll spend time in my little shed, my sheddy-o, making jewellery. I'll pop a couple of pictures up at latest stuff that I've made if anybody's interested and want to have a look. It's an hobby I've had for quite a few years, about 14 years. It's not an easy hobby. It's not a cheap hobby either. If anybody fancies getting into it, just drop me a message and I'll pop a link on, or I'll send you a link to a website. a guy called Peter Keep, originally from Manchester in England, now lives in Australia. Cost me a bit of money, but it's worth every penny. But yeah, I'll put me a couple of pictures up for you to have a look at. I might end up having to do a bit of decorating. In fact, I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen, because there's a bedroom wants decorating. In fact, the entire house is getting ready, so I'll be doing that before much longer. Just love burbling along like this. I think back to the 1960s, this is what they used to do, innit? You know, when they were going to work, there used to be, when there were no motorways and big air roads and what have you, there were carriageways. They used to go to work on bikes like this, didn't they? What a time that must have been. We enjoy it these days, don't we, on bikes? Nice that were a different era, different time. I mean, I weren't born until 1967, and as I was growing up in Ireland, I started obviously noticing stuff as you get older. I used to see bikes like this all the time. See them and hear them. And I used to think one day I'm going to have one of them. And when I mentioned it to my mother, she says, "You will never bring a motorbike to this house." And she actually said that. And when I left home when I was 21, I bought an Honda C70, I think it were, Placky Chicken, from Skegness, and I used to go to work on it. I worked in a bakery in Spilsby near Skeggy. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and ride to work on my Honda C70. And then I sold that and I bought a Suzuki GP125, and I rode from Skegness back to Barnsley on it to where we lived in Ireland. Parked up on drive. I mean, my mother knew I'd got a bike, so I told her, but she couldn't have got a lot about it because I was living 100 odd miles away. And I walked it out, I said, "There's a bike on drive." "Yes, I know, I've heard it." She absolutely hated bikes, my mother. But then, a lot of people have not done themselves any favours with bikes, have they? Flying about and getting killed. Not about that for me, it never has been really. Yeah, my moments when I was younger, don't we all? But not anymore. Enjoy doing this now. In fact, I enjoy this better. Well, they've even dug this up, look. There's nowhere safe, is there? A bit of utilities, water probably. No, it's water. No, it's not water. It's electric, is it? Red or red and green barriers? Red's usually electric. Don't know what green is. That might be water. we see if we can nip up through Greenmore. I think we can. We'll let this car go first. I enjoyed that ride out on CBR 600 yesterday, but I ended up with a lot of wrist pain. That's why I don't get on with sports bikes. I'm not built for speed anymore, I'm built more for comfort. Yeah, I've got a bit of a aching left hand this morning. I think I pulled a muscle. But I used to weigh a lot more when I first got that bike. Took it out for a ride and I ended up with serious pain in my forearm. You know, from letting forward position. That's one of the trouble with sports bikes, isn't it? They're not really designed for comfort, even though it's not really a sports bike. But it were back in 1990. But it says super sport on fairing. I suppose back then it were. Still a great bike to ride though. That's a great view. Just can't beat that, can you? Could be better than this, on a Thursday morning. No traffic, just us and the bike, and obviously the road. On this way for a change. You honestly cannot beat this. Cruising along in countryside. Looking at that view. When I retire, this is all I'm going to do. Ride and ride and ride. I said also before when I made that video about filming your rides, some of you lads on lasses can do this if there's any women watching. I'd like to see your areas as well, some scenery you've got, some roads you ride on. Yeah, I know, like I said before, I know it costs quite a bit to set it all up, and it does, but you know, once you've got it all, you've got it, haven't you? Go out and enjoy yourselves. This is a good road, I keep forgetting about this one. not forgetting, but you know what I mean, I just don't come this way. I think I'll be doing it more often though. Pretty cold on my hands. It's not as warm as what it looks. Oh my God. Look at that. Enjoyed every minute of that. Absolutely. Heading back down to Millhouse and Penistone there. See how my clocks are steaming up a little bit there. I think all interceptors do that, from what I've heard. All part of the character of the bike, in my opinion. I often don't know what to talk about, you know, when I'm out on these rides. If anybody can give me any tips, subjects that you want me to talk about, then I'll do my best. I won't say I was a very academic person. I've got a lot of life experience. That's one thing I've definitely got with mistakes I've made, I can tell you that. Married 3 times, divorced twice. The amount of mistakes I've made where women's concerned, you would not believe. It's cost me a lot of money and all. But I finally got my act together. Now I'm nearly 60. With a decent job, managed to save up a little bit. Got my bikes, got my YouTube channel, I've got my jewellery hobby. Half decent house, and it's all come through hard work. I've worked for every penny and will continue to do so for as long as I can. It's down there, that little driveway there, I don't know if you saw it. Many years ago when I were on buses up here, there were Kingdom of Jehovah's Witnesses building, or church, or whatever they call them, erected there. Spent a fortune on it back in the 90s. And then all of a sudden, council closed it. Turns out they built it without planning permission. Never told anybody, they just bought land and built it. It's still there, so they must have got retrospective planning permission, But I think it's still there anyway. I've said on many occasions, you know, probably too many occasions, how much I love this bike. Can you imagine how much I'd love something like the classic 350 with its steady nature? Because that's the way my riding seems to be going these days, you know. And I really, really like that Go On Classic. That is an absolutely beautiful bike, that. I think when Royal Enfield realise how well that's going to sell, that'll turn from a limited edition to full production, I believe. Because it really is that nice. Yeah, I know it's only got 20 brake horsepower. But you know, in reality, when you're running about in traffic and doing what we've just done, you won't need much more than that, you know, or any more than that even. I just wish I'd got room for another one. Because I know I keep saying it, I keep thinking about that Tracer. I'm not getting any younger. That is a pretty quick bike, that. I'm not saying it's too quick for me, by the way, because I know how to ride it. I've been riding long enough. But I don't think I'm going more that way, classic cruiser style. But I think if I bought another bike and made it number 4, I think I'd be on divorce number 3. But I'm not going to make any decisions on that Tracer yet, not for at least another. I'm going to stick my neck out here, I could be wrong, maybe a year or two. What I do know for a fact is that my son likes that bike, Tracer, and he's got his street triple, as you know. So if ever he decided to change that, I could give him my Tracer and let him get me something else. I don't know. I've had the Tracer 4 years this year. When I bought it, I said I'd keep it for at least 5 years. That's what I'm going to do. Because every time I get on that Yamaha Tracer, I forget, or I have forgotten, just how good a bike it is and how well it rides. Completely different vibe to this and Honda, obviously. So it's a completely different style of bike. Nevertheless, a very good bike. Morning! I had to pull up for a minute then, my right eye was running. Must be cold breeze getting into it. Yeah, I've never really been one to make any decisions. Yeah, I'll think about stuff for quite some time and then just go and buy it. But I do tend to be impulse buyer. I bought this on impulse. Like I've said before, me and Luke only went to Apple Yards in Keighley for a quick look just to see what they got in, and I ended up buying this. And it's a true story that I bought it on the sound of these exhausts. And obviously look at bike, because I looked at photos of these for quite some time and thought, you know what, I don't like that. And then we went to another dealers in Wakefield, another Royal Enfield dealers, and just to see what they got in, and he got one of these in brand new. And you know what? I still didn't like it. Then when we went to Apple Yards, I had like a change of heart. I thought, you know what? I do like it. So I ended up buying it. If I had a choice, and you know, chips were down and cards were on the table, financially, and I could only choose one of my 3 bikes, it'd be this. Considering all that wrist pain I had yesterday when I was riding CBR, I entered any at all today with this. Don't it just go to show you what a sit-up riding position can do and how comfortable they are? I've never felt uncomfortable on this bike, ever. Enjoy that bit. This bit can be just as good. I've got stuck behind this car. I'll end it here. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've stuck around till the end. If you enjoy what I do, would you consider putting a like on and perhaps subscribing if you haven't already? I do appreciate it. So I'll continue to ride as much as I can until the weather gets really bad. Hopefully it won't get too bad, but we'll have to wait and see on that one, won't we? So yeah, thanks again. I'll catch you next time.